All right, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever been in that moment right before a kiss, like right before, where your heart's racing, there's this silence hanging in the air, and you're both just kind of waiting to see who makes the first move? Yeah, that moment. Now here's the thing nobody tells you. What you say in that tiny space of time can either build the moment into something unforgettable or completely kill the vibe. And today, I'm going to give you something powerful. 5 simple words that every man secretly wants to hear before that kiss. Not because he needs a green light, but because he wants to feel wanted, seen, and completely drawn in. So if you've ever wondered what to say in that moment, the one where everything is hanging in the air, this is for you. Let's get into it. You know, we don't talk about this enough, but it's true. Men get nervous too, especially in those moments right before a kiss. We always assume that men are confident, always sure of themselves, always ready to make the move. But the truth is, a lot of the time inside, he's asking himself the same questions you might be asking. Does she really want this? Am I reading this right? Is she feeling what I'm feeling? He's got all this energy running through him. Adrenaline, hope, attraction, but also a little bit of fear. Not fear of you, not fear of the moment, but fear of getting it wrong, of misjudging, of doing something that might mess up everything he's feeling right now. What makes this moment so powerful, so unforgettable, is the vulnerability on both sides. He might try to act cool, lean in slow, say something witty, or just smile and wait. But beneath that surface is a very real emotional heartbeat. And in that moment, a few simple words can shift everything. Not because you're giving him permission, because let's be real, you don't need to give anything. But because you're giving him reassurance. You're letting him know, hey, you're not alone in this. You feel it too. You're just as in this moment as he is. Think about how rare that is. How many times do people get close, really close, but never cross that line because both are waiting for the other to make a move? Because nobody says what they're really thinking? That's the crazy thing. Sometimes a man just needs 5 words to breathe, to let go of all the tension in his chest, and to finally let the connection take over. And those 5 words, they don't need to be poetic, they don't have to be perfect, they just need to feel real. You might say, I want you right now, or maybe it's, I've been thinking about this, or just, you can kiss me now. Those are small words, right? But they carry this unbelievable weight. Because what you're really saying is, I see you. I feel this too. I'm here with you in this. And for a man, especially a man who respects you, who's been trying to read your energy, who doesn't want to misstep, that means everything. We're not talking about manipulation here. We're not saying, say this so you can get what you want. This isn't about playing games. It's about connection. It's about creating a space where both people feel seen, where he doesn't have to guess and you don't have to wait in silence, hoping he figures it out. Because let's be honest, sometimes we miss signals. We overthink, we assume too much, and then we miss out on what could have been an unforgettable moment. So when you say something, just a few words, 5, even less sometimes, you're not just breaking the ice. You're opening the door. You're telling him, yes, I'm here with you. And in that moment, the kiss becomes something more than just lips touching. It becomes a shared experience, a memory that gets etched into both of your minds. One that he'll replay later, over and over, not just because of the kiss, but because of what you said right before it. You'd be surprised how much that changes everything. Those words stay with him. They become the thing he tells his friends later when he's smiling for no reason. They become the thing he thinks about when he's falling asleep, thinking about you. Not because they were rehearsed, but because they were true. Because they reminded him that vulnerability isn't just his burden to carry, it's something you shared. And that's what every man really wants. Not just the kiss, not just the passion, but the feeling that you were both there, fully, openly, bravely, right before it happened. And those 5 little words, they're the bridge to that moment. There's something so underestimated about the power of subtle words. We live in a world that constantly pushes us toward extremes. Big romantic gestures, dramatic confessions, these over-the-top ways of showing we care. But what if I told you that when it comes to attraction, especially in those intimate moments leading up to a kiss, it's actually the soft, simplest words that hit the hardest. Think about it. Right before a kiss, the air's already thick with anticipation. Everything's slowed down. You notice the way he's looking at you. You hear his breath change. Your heart starts beating faster. This is the moment when time kind of bends, right? It stretches out in this strange way, where a few seconds feel like forever. And in that tiny pocket of time, it's not the grand speeches that matter. It's the quiet signals, the soft affirmations, the words that aren't trying too hard, but still say everything. You don't have to overthink it. In fact, overthinking ruins the magic. You just have to speak from that honest place. Maybe it's a teasing smile and you whisper, "You really drive me crazy." Or you lean in close and say, "I wasn't expecting you to look at me like that." These aren't rehearsed, they're not polished, but they carry so much weight because they feel real. And when something feels real, it cuts through all the tension, all the second guessing, and lands straight in the heart. See, subtlety isn't about playing small, it's about being intentional. When a man hears those words, those soft little affirmations, it's like you're gently pulling back the curtain and letting him see the truth. You're into this. You feel the spark too. He doesn't have to guess anymore. And the crazy part is most men won't admit it, but they long for that. That soft confirmation that says, "Yes, I see you. I feel this too." It's not just about feeling wanted, it's about feeling safe enough to lean in, to let go of the fear of misreading you, of messing it up. You know that moment when you're both sitting close and he's clearly thinking about kissing you but holding back? That pause, that hesitation, that's where your 5 words come in. Not to push him, but to pull him in. To create that little shift from wondering to knowing. And you can do it in the most effortless way. You don't need to be bold. You don't need to be seductive in the way the movies show it. You just need to be present. You can say something as simple as, "This feels really nice right now." Or, "You're kind of making it hard to focus." Do you feel the effect of that? It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it speaks directly to what he's already feeling. What makes those words powerful isn't their volume, it's their timing and tone. It's the way you lower your voice just slightly, the way you lean in a little, the way you let your eyes say just as much as your lips. That's what makes the moment electric, because now it's not just a kiss, it's a moment of connection, of alignment, of mutual knowing. And don't get caught up thinking you need to say the perfect 5 words. It's not about getting the combination exactly right. It's about tapping into the moment. Maybe it's, "I love how you look at me." Maybe it's, "I don't want this night to end." Or even, "You're making this impossible to ignore." Whatever it is, it should feel like it's coming from your body, not just your mouth. From that place where emotion and attraction meet. You're not trying to impress him, you're trying to meet him in the same emotional space he's in, that vulnerable, magnetic in-between before lips touch. And when your words meet him there, it's not just hot, it's unforgettable. It becomes the kind of moment that replays in his mind for days, not because it was loud, but because it was honest. because it made him feel something, because it said more than silence ever could. There's this beautiful tension that builds in the seconds before a kiss. It's quiet but powerful, almost electric. You can feel it in the air between you. You notice the way his eyes keep drifting to your lips, the way his voice softens, the way both of you seem to be holding your breath just a little. And in that moment, there's something sacred happening. Anticipation. It's the build-up that makes the kiss feel like it matters. You see, the truth is, it's not the kiss itself that makes your heart race. It's everything that happens before it. It's the way your skin heats up, the way your thoughts slow down, and your senses become sharper. The sound of his voice feels deeper. The way he looks at you becomes more intense. Time starts to blur. You're no longer thinking about what comes next. You're just here, in this moment, with him. And it's that anticipation that turns a simple kiss into something unforgettable. And that's exactly why the right 5 words, spoken at the right time, can change everything. They don't just fill the silence, they don't rush the moment, they heighten it. They stretch it out just a little longer in the most delicious way. They turn up the heat without burning through it too fast. Because when you speak into that pause with a whisper like, "I've been waiting for this," or "Tell me what you're thinking," you're not just talking, you're saying, "I'm here, I feel this, and I want to go deeper." That's the magic of anticipation. It doesn't need to be obvious. It thrives in the subtle. It's in the way you brush your fingers against his, the way you lean in just enough to blur the line between distance and closeness. It's the almost, the not yet. That's what gets into his head. That's what makes his heart beat a little faster. Because it's not just about desire, it's about curiosity, about wondering what's going to happen next and knowing it could happen at any second. And the best part? You get to control the pace with your energy, with your words, with your silence. The right 5 words aren't a green light screaming, "Go now." They're more like a soft echo of what's already happening between you both. They say, "I feel this too, and I'm right here with you." When you say something like, "You make this hard to resist," you're not asking for a kiss. You're just confirming the chemistry. You're leaning into the tension, not dissolving it. And that's what makes the moment so intense. A lot of people think romance has to be fast, instant. But the truth is, slow burns leave the deepest mark. The more you build anticipation, the more your kiss will live in his memory. He won't just remember that it happened. He'll remember how it happened. The way you looked at him, the way your voice dropped just slightly, the way you said those 5 words like a secret meant just for him. That's what lingers. That's what keeps him thinking about you long after the moment's passed. It's not about control. It's about co-creating the moment. You're not waiting for him to make a move, and he's not pushing you to respond. You're both holding the moment like something precious. Something that only works if you both choose it. That's what makes the anticipation feel like art, not pressure. It's not about whether or not the kiss happens. It's about how it feels when it does. And that feeling, that's what those 5 words are shaping. They're not meant to break the silence. They're meant to deepen it, to stretch it just a little longer, to make the kiss feel earned, not expected. So the next time you feel that moment building, when your heart is pounding and you know he's right there with you, say something soft, something real. Let your words carry the tension just a little further. Let them hold him in that space where everything is possible and nothing has to be rushed. Because sometimes 5 words whispered into anticipation can be louder than any kiss ever could be. Let's talk about something a lot of people don't say out loud. Men want to feel wanted, really wanted, not just accepted, not just liked, not just tolerated. They want to feel that raw, honest, electric kind of desire from someone. And yet, we built up this idea that men are always the ones chasing, always the ones pursuing, always the ones expected to be confident and sure and bold. So what ends up happening? A lot of men walk around looking like they've got it all together on the outside, while quietly wondering, does she actually want me the way I want her? Or is she just being nice? That question, it sits heavy for a guy, especially in moments that are vulnerable, like right before a kiss. You can't always see it because they've been taught to hide it well. But beneath the surface, there's this constant hum of uncertainty. Because when a man respects you, when he really values the moment, he's not going to assume anything. He's going to wait. He's going to watch your cues. And sometimes that silence can be misread. It can leave him questioning himself, second-guessing the connection he thinks you're both feeling. And that's where your words come in, those 5 simple words that hit him not just in his ears, but in his chest. Because when you say something that shows you want him, not just accept him, everything changes. His body relaxes, his shoulders drop, his eyes light up in this very real, very pure way. Because now it's not just him reaching out. It's both of you, meeting in the middle. This is where real chemistry lives, not just in eye contact, not just in body language, but in those moments when he realizes he's seen. You're not waiting for him to prove anything. You're already in it. You're already there. Think about what that does to a man who's been carrying the silent weight of always being the one expected to initiate. When you drop 5 words like, I really want this too, or you have no idea, do you? Or even just, I love the way you look at me. It pulls him in with a force he wasn't expecting. Because now you've broken the pattern, you've flipped the script, and you've made him feel something he doesn't get enough of. Chosen. That word matters more than you think. Chosen. Desired. Not because he earned it, not because he chased it long enough, but because you feel it, because your energy, your words, your presence are saying, you're not just the one who showed up, you're the one I want. And that does something powerful to a man's heart. It clears out the noise in his head. It silences the doubt. It anchors him in the moment. And here's the beautiful part. It doesn't take a long speech. It doesn't take a dramatic gesture. It just takes a few honest words said at the right time with a tone that says, this is me being real with you. And what's even more incredible, when he feels that from you, his confidence goes through the roof, not in an arrogant way, but in the way that makes him show up fully. He doesn't have to hold back anymore. He doesn't have to hesitate. He knows you're there with him, not waiting on him. It makes the kiss better, deeper, more connected, because it's not one-sided anymore. It's not him taking a chance while you stand still. It's both of you diving in, together. That moment becomes mutual, intimate, and completely unforgettable. And after it's over, he won't just remember the kiss. He'll remember what you said before it. He'll replay those words in his mind over and over, because they didn't just light up the moment, they lit him up. This is the part most people miss. It's not just about seduction. It's not about strategy. It's about recognition. It's about letting someone know with just a few words, you're not alone in this. And for a man, especially one who's used to carrying the pressure of being the bold one, those 5 words are like oxygen. They free him. They connect him. They invite him into something real. There's a moment before a kiss that feels like standing on the edge of something. Something thrilling, a little terrifying, and completely alive. Your heart is racing. Your breath feels shallow. You notice the smallest things. His fingers, his scent, the way he's looking at you, the exact shape of his smile. It's a moment that doesn't just happen, it's built. breath by breath, look by look, word by word. And what's often forgotten is this: the most powerful moments between two people aren't always loud. Sometimes they're found in the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly what they feel and is brave enough to express it. That's why confidence, especially subtle confidence, can be incredibly magnetic right before a kiss. Because in that moment, uncertainty is swirling in both of you. You're reading each other, searching for signs, checking for clues, and even the slightest confirmation that the feeling is mutual can make everything shift. So when you say something simple, but said with a tone of certainty, like, "I know you want to kiss me," it doesn't just land as flirtation. It lands as clarity. It cuts through the haze and hands him something solid to hold on to. Now let's be real. There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, but here's the difference. Confidence comes from presence. It doesn't need to overpower. It doesn't need to demand. It doesn't scream, "Look at me." Instead, it calmly says, "I see what's happening here and I'm not afraid to feel it." And when a man sees that in you, when you lock eyes and you say something that shows you're not only feeling the moment but owning it, it pulls him closer, not just physically but emotionally. Because in that moment, your words become an anchor. They create safety in the most surprising way. And that safety, let's talk about that. Most people think confidence is about dominance, but in truth, it's about reassurance. When you show that you're in tune with the moment, that you're not hesitating, that you want this, it takes the weight off his shoulders. Because whether or not he shows it, he's likely been carrying this low hum of fear. What if I misread this? What if I'm too forward? What if she pulls away? So when you lean in slightly and say something as smooth as, "You don't have to hold back," or "I know you've been waiting," you're giving him something he didn't even know he needed: permission to let go of the doubt. Confidence isn't about being the louder one in the room. It's about being the clearest voice in the moment. And the most unforgettable 5 words are the ones that reveal how certain you are about what you feel. Because when you speak from that place, you don't need to over-explain or over-perform. You're not fishing for a response. You're giving one, a real one. And men feel that deeply. Because in a world full of mixed signals and guarded emotions, that kind of certainty stands out like a light in the dark. Imagine being on the receiving end of that. Imagine him leaning in, still unsure, still feeling the tension, and then you look him in the eye and say, "You want to kiss me." Not asking, not guessing, stating gently, confidently. And the wild thing is, you're not even saying it for him. You're saying it because it's true, because you feel it. And in that moment, what you're really doing is meeting him halfway. You're showing him that he doesn't have to carry the whole weight of the moment. You're showing him that connection is a two-way street, and you're already walking it. That's what makes those 5 words powerful. Not just the words themselves, but the energy behind them. You're not performing. You're not trying to impress. You're being honest in the most fearless way. And men don't just admire that, they crave it, they remember it. Because when a woman speaks from that grounded, confident place, it doesn't just lead to a kiss, it creates a memory, a story, a moment that becomes one of those quiet little snapshots that he keeps going back to, long after the night is over. That's the power of 5 words, spoken with real confidence. Not loud, not forceful, just clear, honest, and completely unshakable. So what does it all come down to? It's not about having the perfect line. It's not about being bold or seductive or saying something out of a movie script. It's about being real. It's about those 5 simple words that carry your truth. Whether they show your curiosity, your emotion, your desire, your confidence, or your playful connection. Because right before a kiss, everything slows down. That's when the heart listens more closely than the ears. And when your words match the energy that's already building between you, it creates something unforgettable. Those 5 words, they don't just lead to a kiss, they transform it. They turn it into a moment that lingers, not because of what happened, but because of what was felt. And that's what every man wants to hear in that moment. Not a line, but you. Honest, present, and beautifully sure of what's happening between you both,